What's up, everybody? This is Jarrett from Bowling for Soup.
Hey, this is Samuel Zell. How are you guys doing?
Hi, this is Frank Turner.
And I am Mega Ran.
And you are lucky enough to be listening to Upside Down Shark Radio.
Yeah, be upside down. Don't worry about it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Upside Down Shark Radio, episode number 70. We are back, just like Game of Thrones. And that's the only time we're going to mention that this episode.
Thank God, because that's all I know about Game of Thrones.
We need hashtag Game of Thrones, hashtag SEO. That's how it works, isn't it?
Hashtag Game of Thrones question of the week.
Question: What is the Game of Thrones question of the week?
What is Bran doing in Winterfell?
Okay, hashtag Winterfell. Let's do that. Upside Down Shark, your number one place for Game of Thrones. Yeah. I am your usual host, back at it with his usual co-host. What are our names? Good question. I haven't done this for a while. I'm Craig. I'm joined with Tom.
Hey, old Ring Rust Baker over here. How's it going?
We're like Ant and Dec, except not Geordie.
That is literally the only reason I can think of that we're not them.
No other reasons.
Yeah, other than that, it's identical. Spitting image, one might say.
Yes. How are you?
I'm very well. It feels like it's been ages since we've been in a room together. And frankly, I've missed it. It's nice to be back in the chair.
Yes, the chair.
Yeah, the hot chair.
We're going to get these chairs changed eventually.
Well,
because they're not the best, are they?
They are quite sinky.
Yes, a sinky chair.
And if you want to sit on these chairs, make sure to email us at upsideDownSharkRadio@gmail.com, and you could be on the show sitting on the sinky chairs too.
Or sit on Tom's lap. We don't mind.
I mean, they're both equally sinky. But obviously, it's been a while since we've recorded.
PW.
What?
PW.
PW?
Post WrestleMania is when we.
Yeah, it's been well over a month, and because of that, I've forgotten what Upside Down Shark Radio is. Craig, can you remind me what it is?
The alternative pop culture podcast.
I'm going to put a sick guitar riff over that.
Where you talk about video games, films, TV shows, and other sparkly pop culture type of things.
We throw it out there and then we talk about it.
We do. And where can people find these things?
Whoa! What happened there? It's not the third take of that. They can still find us at upsideDownShark.com, at youtube.com/upsideDownShark, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus maybe, I don't know. And wherever fine audio podcasts can be found, that would be Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify now, amazingly, TuneIn Radio, Castbox, all of those great places.
At what point do you mention all of them and it just becomes redundant?
Probably after the second one. Well, the thing is that you can find all of that at upsideDownShark.com. So
that's a good website.
Essentially, everything after that is redundant. But, it's just nice to remind just ourselves where everything is. Take stock of it, as it were.
UpsideDownShark.com. Your place for stuff that we do.
We are the alternative pop culture podcast. That's the strapline. The strapline for the website is the place for stuff. We
should probably update that. That's a good strapline.
I actually genuinely quite like that.
Yes. The place for stuff, Upside Down Shark. It's been a while, Thomas.
It's been a while.
As one of the best rock bands in the world, Stained. Stung about.
It did sting when they broke up.
Did they spray it? Oh, that's so sad.
I think they did. I think he's just doing solo stuff now. Apparently he's got this habit of storming off stage if people don't applaud him and everything. Apparently it's really sad. I'll show you a video after this.
It's a bit like you after every show where we...
Yeah.
Oh my God, just stroke your ego. But yeah, have you been okay?
Yeah, no, I've been good. I've been all over the world. I've been to America. I've been to Rome. It's been fun. I've been putting some Upside Down Shark stickers wherever I travel. So if you want some of those, hit me up and we will send you some as well. And
I thought about starting to stick them where I work. And then I thought, if I do this too much, then people are just going to go onto it, see my big mug, and then be like, well, I guess we know who's been putting these stickers everywhere at work. So I fought against that.
As the famous phrase goes, but in a much more family-friendly way, you don't poop where you eat.
That's correct. But yes, I went to EGX.
Yes.
And basically put loads of time and work into going there, recording there, interviewing there.
Oh no, I had to go to a games convention for free.
That wasn't... Hey, come on now.
I'm joking. You did a really good job.
I did an okay job.
You and
yeah,
Neale
that
both,
was-
and Joey.
That was and yeah, Neale was there too.
Yes, he was.
Did you?
I said that, Neale and
Okay.
Joey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me, Neale, and friend of the show, Joey. We had a nice time playing games, interviewing people, and just all round good time.
Yeah, it's good. What was your favourite game? I know you talked about it on the EGX roundup, but what game would you say you took away from EGX as your one you're most excited for?
I probably would say Guntastic because that seems like a fun multiplayer,
There you go.
irritate people about game.
You have been known to irritate people, so I can see why.
Me? I haven't been here for a month, and then I come back on, and I just get insulted straight away. This is not going to bode well, people. I will bide my time, and I will think of a way to overthrow Thomas.
I have no power. You have nothing to overthrow.
You have no power.
But no, I will link all of the EGX stuff in the description below to check out. I highly recommend it. There was some interviews with some really cool people. One of them was in a dog bed, so that was something I didn't think I'd ever see.
One of them featured me calling someone the wrong name.
That
And,
was
you
my
know,
favourite
A
moment.
good editor would, take that out, never mention it again. Hello everyone, Craig here from Upside Down Shark, and I'm joined with the wonderful Katie from
Megan.
All around me are familiar faces.
Let's do that again. But no, don't just put it right up front.
Good
There
job
you
we
go.
haven't got a good editor. And yeah. So we've been. Although we haven't had an episode in sort of the regular format for quite a while, we have been keeping very busy. And
Your interview with Hickey Jr.
Patrick Hickey Jr. Yes,
Yeah.
that was very good. He's a very, very interesting man. Have you
Yeah.
actually got around to listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it.
Did you enjoy it?
Always down in that hashtag shark content.
The Shark Tank.
I'm so cringy today. I'm sorry, everybody.
That's okay. It's
Yeah,
not that irritating.
He is a very interesting fellow. How he basically just went for it and was like, "Hey, people, I'll work on your game." Okay, yeah. And then there's like, "Well, the voice actor's gone. Hey, I'll do the voice acting." Yeah, okay. So that was
It's
pretty
always
cool.
interesting to hear how people have got into the gaming industry. Obviously, we've interviewed a few people who have managed to either as their day job or just as a hobbyist be involved in the industry, like our friend Dennis, Patrick, and then obviously the people at EGX as well. And it's just really interesting to see how there are so many different ways into gaming, whether it be through university or just like through sheer just gumption to be like, yeah, I'll do it. Do you want me to do it? I'll do it. And then just one thing leads to another.
And then they do it.
Yeah, and then they do it, and hopefully we can do it one day as well. Someone hire us. But alas, we should probably get on with the news of the week.
Before we do that, I'm going to change your microphone cable.
So now that we've got the introductions out of the way, and I've got rid of my introduction microphone and got my regular podcast microphone,
Oh, that
let's
sounds
get on.
essential.
Let's get on with the news of the week.
Get it on.
And so let's start with a bit of video game news because, boy howdy, we picked a week to miss because there's been a lot of video game
We
news.
didn't miss. We're here in the present. We covered video games with EGX. We staggered that. We interviewed a video game guy, Patrick Hickey.
Yep. Yeah, I
And-
suppose.
And now we're talking about, if you don't like video games, just go. Leave.
I like video games.
Okay, you can stay.
All right, cool.
PlayStation 5 has been formally announced, everybody.
Woo!
Wired ran an article on behalf of Sony, or in cooperation, in partnership with Sony. I believe they probably had some scoops. They went to Sony,
Exclusives.
and Sony was like, "Okay, some of this may be true. Let's collaborate and get this all done together." And whilst there's no box, no name, there were a few juicy
Yeah,
juicy
some
tidbits.
nibbles.
Nibbles. Nibbles for us to snack upon.
Yes, to mull over, even though most of them probably won't be either be real or matter
Yes.
in a few months' time. But it's fun to what's the word? Speculate. Speculate.
That is at least 95% of what we do here.
That's what most entertainment publications do, isn't it?
Hey, hashtag Winterfell.
None of this stuff really matters, does it?
Thanks for watching.
Roll credits. But no, it looks really good. It looks exciting, to say the least. It's going to be a lot more powerful than the PS4 by
Yes.
all accounts. It's going to support 8K.
Eight of
8K?
them. Think
That's-
of them.
That's too many Ks.
I think it might be, like the Xbox One X and the PS4 support it now, but no one's really doing anything with it.
What,
That's
4K?
Yeah, 4K. I think that might be the same with 8K. Just like,
Well,
it's ready if you want it.
That's
but
the thing is, 4K's only really been mainstream for a couple of years now. And as you say, a lot of games still don't really support it. So to then be talking about 8K, like no one's going to really have an 8K TV for at least like 2 or 3 years at least, really.
And I think now this year is the year of really affordable 4K televisions.
Yeah.
It's just if you're buying a new TV, it's there. You're not
exactly.
going
Yeah, you would choose to get a 4K TV as opposed to a 1080 now.
Yes.
And I can see the point of future-proofing your console. For obviously, to put it in perspective, the PS5 is going to be released next year now, apparently.
They said it will not be released this year, so
Rumours are that it will be about a holiday period next year, so around sort of October, November time. And most people will not be having 8K TVs in time for that. So, I mean...
Well, if you ask Father Christmas nicely, you never know, you might get something.
I've been such a good boy. But no, I don't think all of the good deeds in the world would get me an 8K TV in 2020. So yeah, I can see the point of, like thinking 5-10 years down the line.
They were also talking about ray tracing as well, which has just been coming into
So this is the new
high-end
light technology, isn't it?
Yes.
That it will make light apertures and whatnot.
It's an easier way to render shadows by using ray tracing techniques, so that it's less processing for...
So it would just mean that lighting effects in games will be much more realistic. And apparently they'll be able to do the same sort of thing with sound as well. So that sound bounces off surfaces. It's all very, very clever stuff.
Sony have always liked sound chips ever since the PlayStation 1. Like, it was a really good audio device.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know a lot of people whose first CD player was their PS1.
And I know a lot of people whose first DVD player was their PS2.
PS2, exactly, yes.
And I know a lot of people
whose first Blu-ray player was a PS3. And my I know it's not Sony, but my 4K Blu-ray player is my Xbox One. So it's funny how consoles help push the technology along.
Indeed.
But the one thing, speaking of graphical and audio fidelity, which wasn't mentioned, which I know has got a lot of people worried, is the frame rate capabilities of the PS5.
Already?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anyone talking about that.
Yeah, well, they're saying that because there wasn't any mention of it supporting 60 frames per second or even more, that if they didn't mention it and they didn't want to shout about it, they might not be there, which obviously 8K on its own is fantastic. Whenever the technology catches up and we can play games like that, brilliant. But if it doesn't have a consistently good frame rate as well, then it's kind of just overkill, really.
I think that might have something to do with developers and stuff like that, and things to that nature.
And the other thing with the 8K, which does put a slight dampener on things, is that for games which aren't exclusive to the PS5, the games will have to be able to play or be capped out for different consoles and different devices like PC and everything. So there might not be at launch many games that can support 8K. So again, it might be just one of those things that it's like when someone's got like 100 gig of RAM, if that was such a thing, in their laptop to play Minecraft.
I mean, we spoke about 8K more than I thought we would to do with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, we should probably move on to something else about the PS5. It's got backwards compatibility with the PS4 confirmed out the gates, which is fantastic. Means that you will be able to play all of your old games. Same with the PSVR headsets. They will also be playable on the PS5, which means that hopefully they'll still be supporting VR into the next generation. And
well, they're supporting it because it's going to be there.
Well, hopefully that means that they might do a hardware update as well.
Yes, because those Move controllers and that camera isn't really the best thing.
No, and also the screen on the headsets isn't the best. Sometimes
Have you played others?
Sorry?
Have you played others then?
What, other headsets?
Yeah.
I've had to go on an Oculus, but obviously that has had the benefit that you're going to have a meaty PC behind it.
It just seems like you're dissing PSVR, and it's the only really VR that you have.
I'm not dissing it. For the price, it's fantastic, and it's one of the first sort of like real consumer-friendly price.
No, you're saying my baby's first VR, right? You... Normie's got a PlayStation 4, just quickly plug that in as well. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, it's such a faff to plug in. The real Normie VR is the Oculus Go.
Yes.
Every elderly member of my family has one now. And, they are very, very bargain bucket.
Tom lives in a mansion, just in case you didn't know, where all of his family have headsets in a single room each to play
no. I tell you what, my One of my great grandparents was living in an old people's home, and they gave everyone a headset. So
Wow.
it is like the Blade Runner dystopian view.
They're just sitting there, just on a beach watching.
Yeah, exactly. But they're
God.
just like in the front living room of an old people's home. It's great.
So backwards compatibility is a big thing, a big deal. It's good.
Tasty.
All the digital purchases that you've made can carry on into the future, and all the discs you've purchased will carry on into the future. It was a big deal for the PS3 to PS4, and it was a big deal for Xbox 360 to Xbox One. That's why Xbox have done the backwards compatibility thing, and now it's Sony. Forwards compatibility is a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. And all of the signs from this initial launch for the PS5 are looking very, very promising. If it is the last ever physical console, then hopefully they will go out with a bang. Or physical console in the regular sense, rather than sort of it being like a streaming service, which is the way that consoles may go.
We will wait and see. I'm hopeful that it is not the case.
But
and also, they were talking about SSD memory and storage.
It's got to load up so fast.
The example they used was Spider-Man, where going from one part of the world to another took around 15 seconds to load, whilst they used the PS5, which they haven't actually called the PS5 yet. Dev kit, it took 0.8 seconds.
Hot damn, that is a quick turnaround.
Yes, so SSD storage has just recently fallen in price, but from everything the article says, it's going to be a pricey bit of hardware, really. So we will wait and see.
Hopefully it won't be as pricey as the original PS3 when they tried to fit everything in it. They had like a camera card reader.
Yes. It's £420 in this country.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was up to like £600 at one point for the premium model.
The George Foreman grill.
I'm so proud of it.
Are you ready?
I put a Blu-ray player in it.
Are you ready for a segue?
Yes.
Hopefully it's not as expensive as some current consoles that are being released soon. Like the Xbox One SAD edition.
Oh, the dickless Xbox One.
Oh, for God's sake. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Which
SAD. S-A-D.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not an oversight. It's got to be an oversight, hasn't it?
It really does, doesn't it?
It's
sad.
We've been talking about it for which seems like an eternity on this show now. It was finally confirmed that recently in the Inside Xbox show that the Xbox One S All Digital Edition is coming to stores next month. And it includes Forza, Sea of Thieves, and Minecraft. And for this country, our beloved United Kingdom, I believe it will cost somewhere around the £200 mark.
Yeah, it's $249 US, which is about a $50 cut on the regular Xbox One S.
But what makes this bad, Tom, is that you can get just a normal Xbox One S for cheaper with a game than you can for this all-digital edition.
Well, that seems to make no sense at all.
I thought this device would just be a small, like, Apple sort of device.
Well, that's what they said that, or the rumours were that it would be literally like a dongle, for lack of a better phrase. But they put the official press release was that the reason that the body doesn't look much different is that to design the new hardware, it would mean that it would have to increase the cost. So they basically just recycled the body.
Yes, translation, they have all those parts. They just took out the disk tray, made a slightly new mold, and that's that.
Well, that's it, because I watched a video by Inside Gaming recently where they talked about this, and they physically opened up one of the new Xboxes live on air just to see what it looked like inside compared to the original One S, and they've literally removed the disk drive, and that's it. Because even the SATA ports on the motherboard where the disk drive would have been attached to were still there, so they've not changed anything else. They've just removed the drive.
Which, if this was £100, $100 cheaper with the free games included, I would trade in my OG Xbox for that straight away. But where with this S, it feels like they've taken out the disc tray. It's pretty much the same price, if not a little bit more pricier. You get free games, which, they're okay games, and you're just losing the disc, the optimal drive.
Well, that's the thing. There's such an opportunity with a console like this, at least in concept, because if you can get it small enough, then without the disk drive, there's really no moving parts within the console. So it could be something that you could take away with you if you were traveling. It wouldn't essentially be a home console as such. It would kind of be a weird hybrid between mobile and
Microsoft Switch.
Kind of, but without a screen.
That sounds awful, Tom.
You know what I mean? Quiet, you.
Well, no,
yeah, you get what I mean.
I think this is more of an experiment. They're trying to use up all the parts. They're going to announce something big at E3, I presume, this year. And they've probably just got leftover parts, and this is how they're trying to get rid of them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to recycle things if the stuff's just lying around. But yeah, I think the overwhelming feeling was just that it's underwhelming. With all this promise of what it could be, it was just a bit of a damn squib.
The underwhelming feeling was that it's underwhelming. Quote Tom Baker. Yes, I agree.
I meant to say overrided feeling.
The overrided feeling. Yes, it has been very underwhelming. But
I'll tell you a console that leaves no sour taste in the mouth.
What console's that, Tom?
That'd be the original Game Boy.
Why is that, Tom?
Where are you going? Alrighty. So the original Game Boy is now 30 years old, which is crazy. Thank you, Craig. For audio listeners, Craig has run away somewhere. And so, 30 years old. That is nearly as old as Craig. And
how many is that in dog years?
That is at least, I'm going to say probably close to 200.
30 years old for a Game Boy, though.
And they still work. They still work.
They do. Look at this. Look.
Not that one's not 30 years old.
Yeah, this is the Game Boy. That's 30 years old.
What game have you got in there?
I don't know. What is it?
It's Sega something.
This is too much, isn't it? This is
Sonic something.
Sonic something. Hey, there we go. It was Robotnik all along.
That damn Jim Carrey.
No, this is not it. What it is, it must be this one. Yeah, woo!
No, not quite.
What's it?
That's the Pocket. That's not the original one.
What about this one then? Woo!
That's the colour, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's just another Pocket.
Oh, okay.
See through and a Hitmon.
Okay, nice. No, the original one was a beast of a thing. What is that? You got a Game Boy printer?
Of course.
That's so cool.
How else do I?
How much did that cost
print
you?
Stuff off with my Game Boy camera, and it's still got roll in it. And how do I print off my Pokemon?
Oh,
I think this must have been £60. I don't know. I was a dumb kid, and I just wanted accessories.
So we're 25 minutes into the podcast, and it's already off the rails.
There we go. That's the original OG.
Game Boy.
Green screen. This one's really bad. It's falling apart. The sellotape's holding the back. The sellotape's holding the screen in as well. And if anyone wants to buy this, just give me a quick message.
You shill.
No, I'm not selling this. It's very yellow as well, isn't it?
All of the old Nintendo consoles went a bit discoloured after a while.
So yeah, 30 years.
It's one of the most successful consoles of all time. I don't know many people who haven't owned a Game Boy at some point in their life. And it obviously paved the way for mobile gaming to be, and handheld gaming to be, such a wide mainstream thing. I mean, obviously, without the Game Boy, we wouldn't have had the DS or the Switch.
The PSP.
The PSP, the Vita, the PSP Go.
God.
And it's I still come back to some of the games on there, particularly the original Super Mario Pocket games on there were really, really good.
Super Mario 2, the what's it, the 6 coins? That's really good.
Fantastic game.
Really
fantastic.
Good. Underappreciated.
And I was just going to ask you what sort of games keep in your memory from the Game Boy?
There is 2. Tetris.
Of course.
That came with the Game Boy itself, didn't it? For a lot of people. So arguably one of the best games ever created, if not the best game ever created. We're still playing it today, Tom. You can't tell me otherwise. And Pokemon is what I had my childhood round. So yes, I'd have to say those 2 are the games that defined the Game Boy for myself. How about you?
Wave Rider, which was the jet ski slalom game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that was one of the first video games I ever owned. You do still see it pop up in a lot of charity shops and whatnot, so I'm not sure if it was one of those ones that was bundled with it as well, or if it was just like super popular.
Yeah.
So that was really good. I never really played Pokemon, but I definitely played all of the Mario games on there. They were really, really addictive. Even, was it Mario Paint or what? There was like another spin-off Mario one, which I remember my aunt brought back from Japan back in the late 90s. And I remember playing that and being really confused as a 4-year-old as to why it wasn't like any other Mario game.
I don't understand this at all.
It's like, I don't know. And then, so I didn't like it at the time, but I've played it again since, and it was very good.
Yes. With the Game Boy came the Game Boy Pocket, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy SP,
Advance
the
first.
Game Boy Advance,
Yep.
Game Boy Advance SP,
The Game Boy Micro, which
Game Boy
was
Micro.
about yay big. It was tiny.
and then the DS.
Yeah, and then obviously the DS exploded into its own success in its own right. I think it did end up outselling the Game Boy eventually.
They
but
should have called it the Game Boy DS.
the Game Boy
But-
D's nuts.
Branding is a weird thing, but happy birthday to you, Game Boy.
Yep.
You are part of a lot of people's lives.
And just to wrap up on Nintendo very briefly, Reggie Fils-Aimé has finally officially left Nintendo. He has packed up and had his last day, and it's an end of an era. And we've talked about it before, so we'll
Yep.
just touch a bit on it now. But yeah, what a legend. What an absolute legend.
And good luck to Doug Bowser, who is taking his role over from him.
Did you see the first photo of him in his office? On his shelf, he tied up Mario and
That
Luigi.
was a video. And
Oh, is it?
He was thanking everyone, yes.
Brilliant.
Yes, very good.
Top notch,
very
top
good.
notch. And finally, on video game news, we have had the trailer for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is the brand new upcoming single-player Star Wars game coming from EA. And frankly, I am over the moon excited. It looks fantastic.
You're so Star Wars fanboy, aren't you? Still?
I love Star Wars.
So I still haven't seen the trailer for this yet because I'm not a real gamer apparently. And
You're not one with the Force.
what I saw was EA basically saying it's going to be single player. There's going to be no multiplayer, no loot boxes, and no. We're not going to be adding them. And my first thought was, you're the ones that made this problem, that you had to advertise this in the first place. Why are you, now being like, oh, we're not going to add them? Because we usually do. It's like, oh, you're so irritating.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any company that I wanted making this game, EA would not be at the top of the list. But it does look good. And obviously, they've got all the...
Isn't it Respawn doing it?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I believe this game was in production and then EA bought them midway through.
Oh, okay.
So whilst Anthem had a problem because of the engine it was on, which is the engine that EA use. This
the one
one's-
that's so powerful it kept breaking your console.
Yes, that one. This game is going to be on Unreal, which...
That's unreal. I don't believe you.
So, yes, this is supposed to be a good game from
Yeah.
the outset, by the looks of it.
Well, the thing is, we haven't had a proper single-player Star Wars game since, I believe, the Force Unleashed duology.
I believe that is correct. We discussed, didn't we, that EA have had the license for 5 years and they had Battlefront 1 and 2 and a mobile game.
Yeah,
with that
they
license.
really haven't done well. Like, there's been all the...
tried, EA.
There's always been this lingering rumor that LucasArts might try and take...
I'd say more of a smell, just a lingering smell.
that LucasArts might try and take the rights back off EA because they were so disappointed in the fan reaction to what they've made. But they could turn it around with this. Like, if this is a solid story that obviously lends itself well to the canon, has solid gameplay, and that's the thing, is there's a lot of EA games where the actual gameplay itself is tight. They do make functionally good games. The problem is all the nonsense around them that just makes it into basically a massive cash cow.
Yeah, I mean, they've done franchise work, loads of franchise work before. Simpsons, Lord of the Rings,
Harry Potter.
They're not all smashers, but a lot of them are really good.
Yeah.
So it's just... EA are in such a weird place right now, and it's like they're trying to find their own identity.
Well, they need a good PR story, and if this can be it, then all power to them.
But it seems like they're trying to force their own good PR story at this point.
Force, get it, like in Star Wars.
It's very... I feel like they get hated on for no... The backlash is obviously justified, but I think like sometimes it's just a bit too much on them, and they're trying. So
Well, that's it. There's such a big umbrella of studios now that it's hard to single one out, which is unfair sometimes because obviously like Apex Legacy, which
big boy
Yeah.
game.
Is it Apex Legacy or Legends? I can never remember.
Apex Legends.
That's the one. Got it right second time. That is a really, really solid game by all accounts. I do need to get around to trying it at some point. But I'm not going to know. But yeah, so there is a precedent that they could make this fantastic. And I am willing to be optimistic about it because it's Star Wars. It's really hard to get Star Wars wrong for me. So
it's quite weird how EA's old tagline used to be challenge everything.
Challenge everything.
And now literally it seems like that's all fans are doing is just challenging EA for everything all the time.
It's good.
It's good. Keep them honest.
Give the people what they want.
For more Star Wars talk, join us after the track of the week.
You've missed saying that, haven't you?
It brings me happiness, Tom.
Good.
So
I'm
Tom, what is this fire rap horn track of the week?
Track of the week is Maggie Cassidy with Leaking Love. This is their newest single. Oh, for God's sake. And it's available wherever fine music can be found. So you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. And you can see the music video on YouTube. But without further ado, here is Maggie Cassidy with Leaking Love. Check it out!
I tried every way I know, searched every scene I've owned. I still can't beat it, depression won't leave. I flip to the scripts I wrote, each side of the fence still glows. When I think of feeling ashes of fear, then you came up, been thrashing since against the strongest reasons to coexist. I know what this heart is, and I know what this spot is. When I move to reach you, all I can do is prove. I tried to hold it, but this darkness is me. It wasn't long before it started. It wasn't long before my mood set in. Can't have you blame yourself, I doubt it's just me. Don't fit in, forget it. If it's all the same to you, in time I might have made it through. But I can't take this haunting feeling, I can't stop this shrinking ceilings. No, the same with you, you give me more than flesh and truth. And in that heart I know there's room for two. I tried to hold it, I tried to control it, but this darkness is me. It wasn't long before it started. It wasn't long before my mood set in. Can't have you blame yourself, my darling, just me. Don't fit in, forget it. No, it's hard to restart, but it beats. Now it's time to stand as one, kill my ego and be done. A new me, don't fit in, I'm changing. On, can you hold on while I'm leaking love? Can you hold on to me? Can I be loved? Can you hold on to beat this feeling? Have I earned your trust? No, it's hard to restart, but it beats. Now it's time to stand as one, kill my ego and be done. A new me, don't fit in, I'm changing. I pray it's not the end, I can see it.
Hi, this is Frank Turner, and you are lucky enough to be listening to Upside Down Shark Radio.
You know what, Tom? I'm fed up of leaking love everywhere. It's really unfortunate.
It just gets everywhere, doesn't it?
everywhere.
It's like sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere. But no, that was Leaking Love by Maggie Cassidy. Make sure to check them out at www.whoismaggiecassidy.com for all of their social links.
Who are they? Is this like Gavo? Who is Gavo?
I mean, you're going to have to go to the website to find out.
I will stop that now.
I really want that app. But no, it's a good song and they're good guys. Hopefully we can get them on the show very soon.
We did mention that Smash has been updated and Joker from Persona is in that. So if you like those things, go for it.
I like the first one, don't care about the second.
You'll never see it coming. That's a Persona reference. Rumours are swirling that Persona is going to be released for Switch, and I would lovingly put another 50 hours into that until I fall off. So
Fall off?
I put in like 50, 60 hours on the PS4 version, and then I just didn't finish it.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean now.
And you're just like, oh, I should really go the extra effort.
I thought you meant you played it so much that you fell off your chair.
Well, I was on the trampoline at the time, and that's
Oof.
where I fell off.
That's a joke for 2017.
Oh, you must mean 2018 because we're in 2019 right now.
Oh yeah, I lose track of time. So let's talk about some 2019 movies.
Dun 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 dun. You talking?
Oh, I thought you wanted to lead into it with your little jingle.
Dun, 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 dun.
So there's a new Star Wars trailer for Episode 9, which was released at Star Wars Celebration a week or so ago. So we finally have the title and first trailer for Episode 9. Did you see what the title was?
I've just had a realisation. Maybe I don't care about Star Wars as much as I actually thought I did because I haven't seen the trailer for this either.
Have you actually not? God damn, but you know the title.
Rise of Skywalker?
The Rise of Skywalker, yes. Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker is the official title for that.
How? Sorry, I had to cut you off there.
That's okay.
How? How is it the rise of him?
We'll have to find out.
Okay.
It might not be him. There might be other Skywalkers.
Maybe Rey.
Well, that's what people are thinking.
That seems really easy to speculate that, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it also feels like it's way too obvious and there'll be a massive swerve.
Exactly.
Because I guess, in a way, Kylo Ren has got Skywalker blood.
That's true, yeah. Oh, yeah, what if they switch and he's the good guy all along?
There's been talk that it might happen.
What if Jar Jar Binks is Skywalker?
So, you haven't seen the trailer.
No.
Do you know any of the context that happened or anything that happens in the trailer?
I think I saw one screenshot of Rey, and she did a backflip or something. I heard
She did do a backflip over a TIE fighter.
and that was the only real. I didn't even know it was. I just heard she did a really big backflip.
Okay, so there is a big
Break it down.
reveal at the end of the trailer, which
Okay.
I'm not sure whether or not you'd rather I spoil on air or if you'd rather watch it after the fact.
No, let's do it here.
Do it here?
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the trailer
Is
doesn't.
it really a spoiler if it's in the trailer?
It's a reveal, not a spoiler.
Oh, I think I know what you're on about now. The Palpatine guy.
Yes. So most of the trailer doesn't really give away much of the plot, which is what you want from a trailer. There's some really good set pieces, as you say. Rey does a cool backflip over a TIE fighter. There is some cool space battle bits. And a little clip of Kylo Ren basically just dicking on some fools with his lightsaber. And then at the end, there is Luke with doing some voiceover. So he's not actually there, saying that no one's ever really dead or no one's ever really gone. I think it's the second one. And then it fades to black as they look into the distance. And then you hear Palpatine laugh.
Okay.
And I watched this live during the Star Wars Celebration stream, and then obviously you hear the crowd erupt in excitement as it happens. The lights go up in the convention center, and then it's the actor Ian McDiarmid, I believe his name is, on stage, and he's just initially he's overwhelmed by the reaction of just people just losing their minds that he's there, and then just composes himself ever so slightly and just goes, "Roll it again," in the Palpatine voice, and they play the trailer again, and then he just walks off stage. It's pretty cool. That's a good cameo if I ever saw one.
Just like John Cena coming out for WrestleMania. You jumped out your chair.
Doctor is back in the house.
That sounds interesting.
I mean, obviously, it leaves a lot to digest because, for spoiler alert from 30 years ago, he's dead. He gets killed by Vader in his redemption arc at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Just like Darth Maul dies at the beginning of number 1.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ta-da! You know the person who originally voiced Darth Maul?
Yeah, Peter Serafinowicz.
Yes. I just recently heard this story which made me laugh. He did the voice for Darth Maul in a recent film that may have came out, but he didn't know that they replaced his voice until he turned up at the premiere or something. That just made me laugh.
That's really unfortunate.
That's really sad, but I guess he got paid for it.
Well, that's it. And he's a really successful actor now. He's in The Tick and plays Brian Butterfield.
Shaun of the Dead.
Well, yeah, that was one of his first feature lengths, I believe.
And he plays in Dark Souls as well, voice actor.
Yeah, he's got a great voice. Great voice.
But back to the Star Wars stuff, segueing as we do everywhere. Even Rian Johnson, who directed one of my favourite films, Looper. He said he doesn't know what's going to happen in this film, but
they've kept it very under wraps.
He's on board for whatever J.J. Abrams may do, because this is the last in this trilogy, isn't it? And then Rian Johnson's going to be directing the next trilogy.
Yeah, and I think they're still going to be the door open for spin-offs and whatnot, like they have been doing. And obviously there's the new TV series that they announced as well coming out. Yes,
that is another big news story that has happened whilst we haven't been...
Well, it was all sort of came over the same event. That
it was sorry to cut you, a finance meeting, wasn't it? And this is where they revealed all of their plans. Should we quickly go down them?
Yeah.
It's going to be called Disney Plus. It's going to be cheaper than Netflix. It's going to have a massive back catalogue and also new content.
And it's going to be very cheap as well, by all accounts. It's going to be $6.99 at launch.
Yes.
For the US, which I believe drops this November. There's no talk of when it's going to come over to the UK yet.
They want to... Europe, US and UK was where they're planning for mostly this year.
This year, nice.
And like PlayStation, Xbox, smart TVs, that sort of thing. Original Star Wars stuff, as we just mentioned, original Marvel stuff, and the Marvel stuff is interesting because it feeds into the MCU as well. So
I'll tell you one thing that got announced as part of Disney Plus, which I think flew under the radar, but it's going to be really cool, is that you get basically the entire catalogue of National Geographic stuff, because some of those documentaries are great, and sometimes just having like a cool nature documentary on in the background is just the nicest, most zen thing. So to have that on demand is going to be really cool.
That would be nice, yeah. I wonder if, I know this is not really our sort of thing, but Disney own ESPN, if there is going to be any like special documentaries on, you know, or different sorts of sports on there as well. That'd be interesting to know.
Maybe. I mean, obviously Disney owns so much now. The world is their oyster, basically.
Upside Down Shark Radio is actually going to be on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, we've recently been acquired. So
yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
It's nice knowing you all.
We're going to do some voiceovers for The Simpsons now, because that's happening too. That was actually the place as well, didn't they? Say that's Disney Plus is going to be the only place to stream
all 30 series of The Simpsons.
But I hope that is the case in this country as well.
Oh God,
man!
I'm never going to leave the house.
Man, you can pirate them. It's just not the same opening files. No. You can have your DVDs and
Channel 4. You have to have adverts.
Exactly.
That joke is not going to fly over in the US.
No, where they have commercials.
And plenty of them from first-hand experience.
So you're excited for Star Wars?
I am very excited. Yeah. This year, it seems to be every sort of 3 or 4 years, there is a year where there's just great film after great film. And this year is it, because we've got Avengers in
2 days' time. You going to midnight showing?
Are you going to a midnight showing?
No, I'm going to 10 a.m. because I like sleep. And then I'm just going to the 10 o'clock showing the next day.
That's probably a better idea.
What do I actually gain from the midnight showing?
The risk of spoilers is completely gone.
I'm going to wake up, not look at my...
Grab a Prussian pillow and wake up.
Why'd I leave that ketchup on the table?
You wanted to.
I'm just going to wake up and go straight to the cinema. Like, okay. No one's going to... What's my dog going to spoil it for me?
Hey, Craig.
He better not. Oh, leave him outside. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I saw Shazam. That was a really good film.
It looks good. I really want to see that. It is
a good film. And you were about to list some more good films?
There's a couple of trailers which have dropped.
Spider-Man! Hey, Spider-Man!
Have you seen the trailer for The Dead Don't Die?
I've seen an image.
It looks really good. It's starring Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Danny Glover, Iggy Pop as a zombie, Tilda Swinton, Steve Buscemi,
This is such a weird cast.
Tom Waits, Selena Gomez.
Tom who?
Tom Waits.
Tom.
Waits.
No, you're supposed to say it like waits
Waits.
because he's waiting. So yeah.
Waits. And it's, I can't remember the name of the director, but he's mostly done sort of art house films. So for him to do a zombie comedy movie is quite a departure. But I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, Bill Murray's always good value for money, so I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Also, Joker looks interesting, if nothing else.
Oh, I am really, really optimistic for that as well. I think that looks fantastic.
See, I wasn't, and then I watched Shazam, and obviously they hint at the DC universe. Like they pretty much don't even, but after seeing Shazam, it has given me new life for what DC films are.
Nice.
And I think it's in the not short term, but Marvel have always had like a quality, haven't they, going in?
Yeah.
DC have built themselves up.
They're getting there now, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's okay to have like hiccups on the road to, good films.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if you look at the longer roadmap of Marvel, like some of the early 2000s stuff before they got acquired by Disney was shockingly bad. And obviously they rode that. They ended up...
Blade, Trinity, what a... Triple H and the pedigrees in that.
I was thinking Elektra more than anything, but they rode that, and then obviously they had their break with Iron Man, and then they managed to build from there. So hopefully, after a few full starts, DC can do the same.
What makes Joker so interesting is that it doesn't look like a superhero film.
Well, no, it looks tragic. He looks like such a sympathetic character. It's basically people are saying it looks like Taxi Driver in the DC movie universe.
Just looks dark with no happy ending, which a bit of a psychological, like thrillery sort of thing, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that Joaquin Phoenix is mainly
Joaquin Phoenix
is mainly known for doing more sort of art house and independent projects. He's not one to really sort of like take on just the massive money making blockbusters. So for him to take this on means that it probably does have a seal of quality along with it. So,
and I think just from the Joker, ever since Heath Ledger, like this is going to get people interested more than anything else.
Well, it's a more unique take on it than obviously Jared Leto's, which was very, very disappointing.
Joker gangster.
Yeah, obviously nothing is ever going to sort of be comparable to Heath Ledger's because it was iconic. But if they can take some of the ideas from that and then make it their own and add a bit more depth from like the protagonist viewpoint, then I'm all for it. There's even talk that he might not actually be the Joker, that he might just be sort of, like an either inspiration for the Joker or...
a henchman of some sort.
Yeah, because obviously that's been the big thing in the DC canon is that the Joker has never had an agreed backstory. They never ever sort of set it down in stone. So
at one point there was 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
Which is mental. But...
So I would like to think they try and keep that spirit alive with this and that it's not quite as clear cut and is a bit more ambiguous.
But from a wider world perspective that nerds care about, and it seems like because the film producers don't, is that this isn't. They've said it isn't really part of their DC universe.
No.
And wouldn't that be even better to be how ambiguous it is? Because he's not really in it, or is he?
It's a one-shot sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for that. But just to end on some less than stellar movie news, saw Hellboy.
You saw it?
Oh boy.
Why did you go see Hellboy and not Shazam?
Because I really like the character Hellboy and I really wanted to like that movie.
He's just red and he's got a big arm.
It's hot garbage. It's not good.
Wasn't it like if you type in Hellboy, Rotten Tomatoes has got it as like 70 or something, and then it turns out it's actually the first one with Ron Perlman.
The first one is the first 2 Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movies are classics. I love them.
Wow.
I absolutely love them. I think that Ron Perlman was the perfect choice of cast. I had a great supporting cast with obviously Doug Jones as Abe Sapien, John Hurt, Jeffrey Tambor, Selma Blair. So it was a really, really good...
We don't mention Jeffrey Tambor anymore.
But back then, he was a very, very good actor. And obviously Guillermo del Toro's creature design is second to none. He makes some really good monster effects. But This one just seems like such a mess.
It's a good looking Hellboy, if nothing else.
Well, the problem is, by the sound of things, is that there was a really good movie at one point, but it's just one of those situations where studio interference has just spoilt it. So,
who made it? Do you know?
What director?
Well, no, studio.
Oh, good question. I can't remember.
Too many cooks.
But it was the director of The
Too
Descent,
many
and The
cooks.
Descent is a good film. I enjoyed that film. So.
Too many cooks. Just like Justice League.
Yeah, never
Too
saw it.
many cooks. Release the Snyder Cut, you cowards!
I don't think it's going to be any
No, it's so stupid. That's so bad. I'm sorry to hear about Hellboy not.
That's
being what
okay.
you
We'll
want.
always have the Del Toro ones.
We'll always have Rome. I was going to go for your leg, but I missed.
When in Rome.
Well, you've got the Avengers as a palate cleanser.
Oh, it better be good. It's got a lot riding on it.
What to me as well is that they have had no like real story marks on the trailers, have they? Like you don't really know what it is. Just
and that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. I don't want to know. If it wasn't like almost impossible, I would have actively tried to avoid watching any trailers for it. But temptation is always there.
I saw someone on Twitter just go, "Oh, this is the part of this TV shot is when Captain and Tony reunite
to become one."
And I'm just like, I don't need to watch that bit. That's too much. Obviously, they get back together and become buddies, but I don't need to see that right now. Oh, it's good. It's good time to be alive, guys. Apart from every other news.
We are spoiled when it comes to entertainment and movies.
And
Golden Age.
If you are interested in the Avengers, I haven't told you this, Thomas. Releasing in 2 days' time, the eve of Avengers Endgame is released. Me, Thomas, not you, you're Thomas.
I'm Thomas.
Me, Dobbie, and friend of the show, Chris Stead. I'm not good at recording anything. How have I been podcasting for this long and still just trip up at every hurdle?
You're a hack.
Myself, Matthew Dobbie, and Christopher Stead, friend of the show, will be recording a spoiler cast of Avengers Endgame, and it will be going up that evening, hopefully, here and on my other podcast, Craig & Co. So the first crossover ever.
The crossover we deserve.
Yes, of course. So
nice.
Will there be an end credit scene? Who knows? We'll find out.
The whole film is one end credit scene.
That'd be funny.
They play the credits at the start, and the rest of it is just the scene.
That'd be good. Aside from that, Tom, is there anything else?
No, I think that is it. It's been good to be back and to discuss some nerd news.
We don't have any other trips planned anytime soon, do we? Is this going to be me and you?
Hopefully this will be us for at least the short term
At least
future.
another week.
At least another week, as we say. Hopefully we'll have some exciting stuff coming out very soon, though. We may have some interviews lined up in the next month or so. So make sure to subscribe to youtube.com/Upside Down Shark to keep up to date with all the releases as they happen. Make sure to hit the little notify bell while you're there, because why not? And yeah, I think that wraps up episode 70. It's the big 7-0 of Upside Down Shark Radio.
Woo!
Bye-bye.